Hi, welcome to the IntroStat class. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the lab work we did, for the lab number 5 exercise. And in the lab number 5 exercise, we are talk about the correlation coefficient and the scatter plots here. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to input into the R's here. All right, let's take a look. Let's go to our lab lab exercise here. Okay, so this is our lab number 5 here, right? So the first problems they ask us is for the fast food is often considered unhealthy because both the fat and the sodium here. So they give us, all right, so this is what they give us the data. So they collect some samples, and so for here, this is the fat and versus the sodium, fat versus sodium here. So they want us to write an R code to calculate the correlation between the fat and the sodium here. Okay, so in the past, when we write the R, we use the existing data set, already people put into the R servers layer. So now, from this problems here, they give us the data. So they give us a set of the data with the fat and the sodiums here. So now what we want to do is we want to take a look, how do we input it into the R? And then how do we do the calculations by using the R's? Okay, so now we are going to the R, and let's remember this data sets. All right, so I'm going to show you how to write the R's here. All right, so let me go to our R here. Okay, so in here, like I said, in the past few exercise, the lab, we're always using the existing data set, and we just code the existing data set and use it. And now for here, for a given number, given the data set, how do we input this data set into into the R? So the first is here, all right? So let's take a look. I need to input the fat into right? So I will say, you can give any, I will say F, I will just say the fat, right? Oops, yeah. So I will say fat, and then I was equal to C here. So you can say that this is the C here. So you type in the 19, 31, and the 34, and the 35, and the 39, and the 39, and the 43, right? So you just input the fat, the code you use is fat equal to the C. That means the columns here, right? So it's 19, 31, 34, 35, 39, 39, and 43 is here. So you hit enter. You see here, after you hit the enter, they record the value of the fat, right? So in here, they recorded the fat here. So you have you have 7 values here. So you can check to see if you type in correctly or not. So it's 19, 31, 34, 35, 39, 39, 43. Okay, so after that, then you said, okay, I want to input the sodium data, right? So you say SODIUM. So the sodium, so you do the same thing equal to C. So you input the sodium. So it's 920, 1500, 1310, and A60, and 1180, and 940, and 1260. All right. So after that, and then you hit enter. You see here. So in this screen here, the sodium showing. So it's like 7 values here. You can double check in here to see you input the data correctly or not. So it's 920. 1500, 1310, 860, 1180, 940, 1260. All right. Okay. So now after that, all right. So these are just the variable with the values, right? So now you need to create a data set here. So the way to create a data set, the first you can give a data set a name. So like in here, I would say it's a burger. So I would say burger.data. If you want, you can say John.data, right? Or Mary.data. So you can give a name. So you can give any name you want. So I say it's the burger.data here. And the burger.data is, then you use this notation here. That means you use it, that means I'm going to have a data frame. All right, so that means that this data set will be consisted of, then you put the data frames here. So you put the variable you just create. So you say fat and the sodium. All right, so then you say boom. See here, all right? So now in here, you create the data set called the burger data, right? So they tell you you have a 7 observations. So you have a 7 data point and 2 variables. So that's correct. I have a fat and the sodium as my, the variables, right? So each one has 7 observations. So you know you created the data set correctly. So after you create a data set, then this is just like what you did before. Instead of call out an existing data set, you create the data set. So now I can do the correlation. So I know the code for the correlation is df underline code. So you can do that this way. You say the burger dot data, right? Because you need to tell them which data set I'm going to do the analysis. So you say the burger dot data. Then what is the next thing here? I want to use this data set. So what I say is the piping through, right? So it's here. So I'm piping through this data set. Now I'm using this function. I call it df underscore core. All right. So underscore core. Now I want to find the correlation for the fat and to what? Sodium. All right. So now you hit the enter, right? So here, so the correlations here, oops, so correlations here, this is the as output is 0.199045. Right? You get that? Okay. So now let's take a look at let's see what is the second problem they ask us. Let's go back to our lab exercise. Let's take a look. Okay, so we finished the first ones, right? So second ones here, they say use the same burger fat and sodium data. I want to create a scatter plot. And in this scatter plot, I want to label the title of the plot as a scatter plot of burger fat and the sodium contents. Now I also want to label the y-axis is sodium contents and the x-axis fat contents here. All right. Okay, so now let's take a look. How do I code this in the R's here? Okay, so here. So the first thing here, all right, so you still, the first one, you need to identify which data set you're using. So you say burger.data, right? Now, the first things you want to do a scatter plot. So you're piping through this data, right? So you're piping through. Then I know the scatter plot here, it will be the GF, right? Then underline point, okay? So the point here, so you want to put this, so, whatever you want on the y-axis, you put first, right? So from the instruction, they said the y-axis has to be the sodium. So you put the sodiums here, right? So you say the sodium and to the, what? To the fat, okay? So it's the sodium to the fat. All right, so this is the GF underline point is try to create the scatter plot. Okay, then you're piping through your result, right? You're piping through your result. Now I'm going to put the title there. So the title, I can use the GF underscore label. All right, so then inside here, just like we say, you can say title, T-I-T-L-E. So title is equal to Then you set a scatter plot, burger, fat, and sodium contents. All right. Now I also from the instruction, I said I want to put a label on my y-axis and x-axis. So let's put a y-axis. So you say y, right? So you put a comment before the y, right? So put a comments here. Then you say y is equal. Then what is the y here? It's sodium. So you say sodium contents. And I'm using the measurements is a milligram, that's right? Okay, so after that, then you move out the quote here, then you say, comma, then I need to put the X here. So what is the X here? X is the fat contents. And what is the measurements here? It's grams, right? All right. So that's it, right? So you say the burger data, right? So you tell them, hi, I'm using the data set I just created called burger data. So I piping through this one, right? So this is a GF point, that's the scatter plot. Remember the first variable is the one you want from the Y variables, right? Then after that, you do the piping through again. So you say the GF labels, right? So you put your labels here, all right? All right, so now let's see here. Now here, let's put an enter. Did you see here? So you will see this is my scatter plot. And the sodium is here, right? Sodium is on my what? On my y-axis, and the fat contents is on my x-axis. And here is my plot here, right? Here's my titles here. Okay, I guess that's it. And so I'm just trying to show you what type of the code you can use for the R, and try to do a simple scatter plot and calculate the correlation coefficients. And then you can put the title, you can put the X label and Y-axis labels here. Of course, there are many other like the options you can make your scatter plot a lot prettier, or you can put the different colors, right? But those are what I'm showing you, those are the basic codes here. All right, and I hope this short video will be able to help you to do the RLab exercise number 5 here, right? So remember, right, you input your variables here. So that's what is I input my variable or whatever the variables you have. Then you need to create a data set. You give a name of the data set. Then you tell this data set the data frame. That means what is this data set going to include? You say, hey, I want to include fat. I want to include sodium. All right. So after that, your data set is created, and then you can use this data set to do the correlation and do the scatter plot. All right, and have fun to do the remaining problems, and I hope that you'll be able to use the simple R to get the remaining 2 problems done. So, all right, okay, so nice to talk to you. Have fun with the R. Okay, bye-bye.